वरप्रदगुरौ वैराग्यभाग्योरधो वेदान्तां तदारवं समनघात् श्रीनिवासात् गुरोः श्रीशैलान्वेकौस्तुभस्यतनीं श्रेयोनिधे श्रीनिधेः वन्दे साधुकटाक्षकेडिनिलयं श्रीकृष्णसतेजिकं श्रीनारायण योगीन्द्र वरदार्यकृपाश्रयं रङ्गेशपादविनतं श्रीनिवासमुनिं भजे व्यासं वसिष्ठनुत्तारं जगतेः पौत्रमकल्मषं पराशरात्मजं वन्दे श्रीपदातं तपोनिधिं पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन स्थितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भगवद्वेषिणीम् यत्पदाम्भोरुहध्यानविध्वस्ता शेषकल्मषः वस्तुतामुपयातो योगे नमामितम्। Offering my pranamams to all the Bhagavatas in this satsanga, I shall resume the next session. In the previous class, a brief recap of the previous class, we finished the study of the shloka, 26th shloka, Na buddhi vedam janayed ajnanam karmasanginam joshayet sarvakarmani vidwan yuktaha samacharan. So the Bhashya, Ajnanam Atmani Akritsna Vittaya Jnana Yogopadana Ashaktanam Mumukshunam Karma Sanginam Anadi Karma Vasanaya Karmanyeva Niyatatvena Karma Yogadhikarinam Karma Yogat Anyadatmavalokana Sadhanamasti iti na Buddhivedam Janayet Kim Tarhi Atmani Kritsna Vittaya Jnana Yoga Shaktaha api पूर्वोक्तरीत्या कर्मयोग एव ज्ञानयोग निरपेक्षः आत्मावलोकन साधनम् इति बुद्ध्या युक्तः कर्म एव आचरन् सर्वकर्मसु अकृत्स्नविदां प्रीतिं जनयेत्. That is the Bhashya. अज्ञानां कर्मसंगिनां जोषयेत् सर्वकर्माणि विद्वान् युक्तः समाचरन्. So there Vidwan and Vidushaha is told as one who has a complete knowledge of the Atman, one who does not have complete knowledge of the individual self. So one who does not have the complete knowledge of the individual self, if they are deeply interested in karma only and they are doing that because it comes naturally due to anadi karma vasana, they are doing karma only and they are only adhikaris for karma yoga. For them, a knowledgeable person, one who has a complete knowledge of the Atman, who is capable of adopting Jnana Yoga, should not create some sort of a confusion or distract them from doing what they are doing. And because they are capable of doing only that, and they are not eligible to get into Jnana Yoga. And looking at a Shrestha, if a person who is Prashasyatama, who is well known and who has all the capability, whatever that person does, others also follow. So if that person, though he is capable of Jnana Yoga, if he does Jnana Yoga, then others also will think this person being a Shrestha, if he is doing that, that must be a better way to achieve Atmavalokana, vision of the self. And they will start getting into that and not being able to do that or perform that, they will be lost. They will not be able to achieve anything and they will lose whatever they are doing also. So that is the buddhi bheda, that is distracting them or making them getting confused that which is a better way to do. So a person who is fully knowledgeable, though he is capable of Jnana Yoga also, he should be very firmly doing Karma Yoga only with a firm idea that without the need for Jnana Yoga, Karma Yoga itself is capable of achieving the vision of the self. So, and one has to do that Karma Yoga, a capable person, in such a wonderful way that others should be really interested, they should get motivated, they should get deeply interested in doing Karma Yoga. looking at the way, the wonderful way that a Shrestha is performing. So, akritsna vidam pritim janayet. They should get more pleased and they should be more interested in Karma Yoga. In that way, a Shrestha also has to do it. That was what was told in that shloka. Continuing further, shloka 27 and 28 are commented upon together by Bhashyakara. Prakritehe kriyamanani gunaihi karmani sarvashah ahankara vimudhatma kartahamiti manyate. Tattvavittu mahabaho guna karma vibhagayoho guna guneshu vartante iti matva na sajjate. Prakritehe kriyamanaani gunaihi karmani sarvashah ahankara vimudhatma kartahamiti manyate. So here there is a Sangati, there is a preamble that Bhashyakara is giving before this shloka. Atha karmayoga manutishtato vidushaha avidushascha vishesham pradarshayan karmayoga apekshitam atmanaha akartrutvanusandhana prakaram upadishati. Now the next part, akartrutvanusandhana, is told. Lokasangraha was told earlier, and initially asaktya lokarakshayai guneshwaropya kartrutam sarveshwareva nyasyokta. These are the four aspects as summarized, briefly summarized by Yamunacharya. Asaktya and lokarakshayai was told till 26 sloka, that is lokasangraha, for the purpose of leading, giving the right lead to the world, what one has to do. So a Shrestha, a Prashasyatama, a person who is highly capable, has a lot of responsibility and should not mislead others. That Lokasangraha was told. Now, the Akartrutvanusandhana Prakara is being explained. So, Atha Karma Yoga Manuthishtataha Vidushaha, a person who is having full knowledge of the Atman and still adopting Karma Yoga, and Avidushascha, one who is doing Karma Yoga without complete knowledge of the self. The distinction between them, Vishesham Pradarshayana, is being shown, and Karma Yoga apekshitam atmanaha akartrutva anusandhana prakaram upadishati. And what is necessarily expected in Karma Yoga, that is atmanaha akartrutva anusandhana prakaram. That the idea of non-doership, that is, I am not the doer, the anusandhana, the idea of thinking of, no, I am not the doer, how it has to be done while doing Karma Yoga is going to be explained now. So, making clear the distinction between one who is engaged in Karma Yoga, having been endowed with the complete knowledge of the self, one who is engaged in Karma Yoga, devoid of the knowledge of the self, complete knowledge of the self, akritsnavit. So, devoid of the complete knowledge of the self. So, Krishna is teaching the mode of performing Karma Yoga now with the continued contemplation that the individual self is not having doership in these karmas, akartrutvanusandhana. That is going to be, so the teachings of the next four shlokas, starting with Prakritehe Kriyamanani, that is 27, ending with Mai Sarvani Karmani Sanyasya Adhyatma Chetasa, up to that it are summarized here in this preamble. So the word Vidushaha in the Bhashya applies to what is told. So here the introduction is Vidushaha Avidushascha. So the first shloka 27th is talking about Avidushaha. The next shloka is talking about Vidushaha. So that is how the Anvaya is. Prakritehe kriyamanani gunaihi karmani sarvashaha ahankara vimudhatma kartaham iti manyate. Prakritehe gunaihi sarvashaha kriyamanani karmani ahankara vimudhatma aham karta iti manyate. Prakritehe gunaihi sarvashaha kriyamanani karmani. Sarvashaha kriyamanani, with respect to all the actions, that is the karmas that are being done by Prakritehe gunaihi kriyamanani, by the qualities of Prakriti, Sattva, Rajas, Tamas, etc., in accordance to the nature of those qualities. Ahankara Vimudhatma, one who does not have the knowledge of the self, as he has the wrong idea of self in the body. He is Ahankara Vimudhatma. Aham Karta iti manyate. He thinks that I am the doer. So the gist is, one who does not have the knowledge of the real nature of the self thinks that the actions that are being done in accordance to the qualities of matter, that is Prakriti, which has the qualities of Sattva, Rajas and Tamas, and the actions are done in accordance to the nature of those qualities, and one who does not have the right knowledge of the self thinks that he himself is doing it, thinking that self is the doer of the actions that are happening due to the qualities of the matter. So that is the gist of that shloka. The next shloka is Tattvavittu Mahabaho Gunakarma Vibhagayoho Guna Guneshu Vartante iti matva na sajjate. Hey Mahabaho, Gunakarma Vibhagayoho Tattvavittu Guna Guneshu Vartante iti matva na sajjate. Hey Arjuna, Gunakarma Vibhagayoho Tattvavit. Guna Karma Vibhagayoho Tattvavit. Guna Vibhaga and Karma Vibhaga. That is, one who is aware of the real nature of the distinction between the qualities and the actions, the karmas. That is, the vibhaga is the partitioning or separation or distinction, we can say. Guna guneshu vartante iti matva nasajjate. Will not be attached to them, knowing that the qualities of sattva, etc., are engaged in the respective natural activities. That is, they are the real cause kind of thing. One who is aware of the clear distinction between the qualities such as sattva and the actions happening due to those qualities does not get attached to those actions which are due to those qualities of the matter and not being done by in the real nature of the Atman, they are not applicable. The Bhashya for this is Prakritehe Gunaihi Sattvadibhi Swanurupam Kriyamanani Karmani Prati Ahankara Vimudhatma Aham Karta iti manyate. Ahankarena Vimudaha Atma Yasya Asau Ahankara Vimudhatma. Ahankaro Nama Anahamarthe Prakritau Aham iti Abhimanaha. Tena Ajnata Atma Swarupo Gunakarmasu Aham Karta iti manyate ityarthaha. Gunakarma Vibhagayoho Sattvadi Guna Vibhage तत्तत् कर्म विभागे च तत्त्ववित् गुणाः सत्त्वादयः स्वगुणेषु स्वेषु कार्येषु वर्तन्ते इति मत्वा गुणकर्मसु अहं कर्ता इति न सज्जते. This is the Bhashya for both the shlokas combined together. So in Bhashya, Bhashkara explains clearly the meaning of some of the significant terms like Ahankara, Vimudhatma and all that with complete explanation. Prakritehe gunaihi Sattvadibihi, the qualities of the Prakriti. Prakriti is matter, it's a dravya, it is matter, and it has qualities of Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. And according to Swanurupam Kriyamanani, Sattvat Sanjayate Jnanam, all these things are going to be told later. So according to their nature, Tamas creates one to makes a person lazy and things like that. So Rajas makes a person get into a lot of activities and all that. So according to their nature, the Sattva, Rajas and Tamas, those gunas, they influence a person, and according to those, Kriyamanani Karmani, a person enters into various, gets into various actions. With respect to those actions, Kriyamanani Karmani Prati, Ahankara Vimudhatma Aham Karta iti manyate. So a person who does not have the real nature of the self, who has Dehatma Brahma, that is, he thinks that the body itself is the self. So here what Yamunacharya told is Dehendriya Manah Prana Deepyo Anyaha. The self is different from the body, different from the Indriyas, different from Prana, different from Manas. So one who does not have that knowledge thinks that the body itself is the self. So all the activities done by due to the association of the body, the Prakriti, in real nature the self does not have all these activities. So Ahankara Vimudhatma is one who thinks he has the Dehatma Brahma, who thinks that the body itself is the self. aham karta iti manyate. I am only doing in my real nature is what a person thinks. Ahankarena vimudha atma yasya asau ahankara vimudha atma. Ahamkara here is ahankaro nama anahamarthe prakritau aham ityabhimanaha. Ahamartha is the sense of I, that is, I am doing. So we keep telling that, my body, my hand, or my eyes, or my mind, and things like that, my prana. So that I who is coming there, or that is ahamartha. What is different from ahamartha is the body, indriya, prana, manas, and all that. That is anahamartha. Na ahamartha, anahamartha, like that. So anahamartha means which is not ahamartha, which is not the real self, but it is the matter which is associated closely with the self. That is called ahankara here. Thinking that the body itself is aham, I. Ahankaro nama anahamarthe prakritau, that is prakriti. All these are modifications of prakriti. Whether the sharira, indriyas, all these are modifications of the prakriti only. They are all material. And aham iti abhimanaha, thinking that that itself is I. Tena ajnata atmaswarupaha. That is, because of that he does not know the real nature of the self. Guna karmasu aham karta iti manyate. The actions that are being done due to the association of the prakriti and because of the qualities of the prakriti, he thinks that in his real nature he has all these doership. Guna karma vibhagayoho. This is the next sloka's bhashya. Satvadi guna vibhage tat karma vibhage cha. The vibhaga is, the distinction is between sattva and other gunas, and activities that are influenced according to those gunas, those qualities. Tattva vitu, one who knows tattva is, that is which is real, which is as existing. Tattva vitu, one who knows the real nature. Gunaha satvadayaha swaguneshu sveshu karyeshu vartante iti matva. So the sattva and other gunas, they are always influencing a person to act according to their nature, and so it is due to them. It is not due to the real nature of the self. Having that kind of an idea, iti matva, guna karmasu aham karta iti nasajjate. So all these are, because prakriti we are associated, it is there with that idea, he does not get attached to those karmas. Looking at some more explanations from Tatparya Chandrika, Prakritehe gunaihi sattvadibihi, qualities of Prakriti, Sattva, Rajas and Tamas, and not the famous qualities which are well known like Shabda and others of all the Panchabhuta, Shabda, Sparsha, Rasa, Gandha and all those things of the senses, etc. Whereas various qualities of the senses, Shabda and others, they are not meant here. Prakritehe gunaihi means it is Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. Swanurupam, the word Sarvashaha in the Mula Shloka means Swanurupam. That is, it indicates what is going to be told as the division of Sattvika and other karmas. Kriyamanani karmani prati. The karmas of the gunas such as Tattva etc. are not being done by the Karta. The Bhashya is karmani prati. That means with respect to the karmas being done due to the qualities of the Prakriti such as Sattva etc. Ahankara vimudhatma aham karta iti manyate. So the word ahankara does not mean the achit dravya. There is also a dravya called ahankara. Prakriti, mahat, ahankara, all these, when the srishti happens, Prakriti, the mula Prakriti, that is primordial matter, undergoes modifications and that matter becomes mahat dravya. That mahat dravya becomes ahankara dravya. From there, that is Sattvika, Rajasika and Tamasika. Three dravyas are there, Sattvika, Rajasa and Tamasa. And from the Sattvika dravya, all the indriyas are created with the combination of Rajasa. From Tamasa dravya with Rajasa combination, all the Panchabhutas are created. So like that, that is a creation and they are all dravyas. So that is not being talked about here, ahankara. That is not the achit dravya, that is the inert matter, that is not what is talked about. And it is also not the idea of pride or whatever we say ahankara, that is also not what is meant here. So it is dehatma brahma, anahamarte ahamityabhimanaha, that is explained clearly. That is dehatma brahma. That is vimudha. Vimudha means moha or brahma or confusion or being perplexed, etc. It is similar to digbrame, one is not knowing the direction, in which direction one is going, etc. In that sense it is taken. So ahankara vimudhatma, that is explained very clearly in the Bhashya. Anahamarte prakritau ahamityabhimanaha tena ajnatatma swarupaha guna karmasu aham karta iti manyate. So the word guna is not meaning here the qualities that are shabda, etc., which are the qualities of the senses, because in that case the usage of guna twice becomes secondary. So Bhashya is swaguneshu sweshu karyeshu. Swaguneshu sweshu karyeshu. That means the activities which are influenced by sattva, rajas and tamas and those gunas of the matter in accordance to their nature. So that is the effect, the actions or effects of the gunas are made separate and distinct. That is a Bhashya. So going further, prakritehe gunasammudhaha sajjante gunakarmasu tan akritsnavido mandan kritsnavit na vichalayet. Prakritehe gunasammudhaha sajjante gunakarmasu. 29th shloka. Tan akritsnavido mandan kritsnavinna vichalayet. Prakritehe gunasammudhaha gunakarmasu sajjante. Kritsnavit tan akritsnavido mandan na vichalayet. That is the Anvaya. Prakritehe gunasammudhaha. Those who are confused about Atman by the qualities of Prakriti, guna karmasu sajjante, get deeply attached to the karmas which are the effects of those qualities. Kritsnavit, one who has complete knowledge of the self, tan akritsnavido mandan na vichalayet, should not distract them who lack complete knowledge of the self and hence they are ignorant. Mandan na vichalayet. He should not make them move away from what they are already doing because they do not have complete knowledge of the self. People who are not very clear about the qualities of Prakriti and are confused that the matter, they do not have a complete knowledge that self is different from matter and all this, they get confused and get deeply attached to the karmas which are the effects of those qualities. A knower of the self should not distract or disturb them who lack the complete knowledge of the self and hence are ignorant from what they are doing. There is a little lengthy bhashya for this commentary is Akritsna vidaha tu atmadarshanaaya pravrittaha prakriti samsrishtataya prakritehe gunaihi yathavastita atmani samudhaha gunakarmasu kriyasu eva sajjante na tad vivikta atmaswarupe atah te jnanayogayana prabhavanti iti karmayoge eva tesham adhikaraha. Evam bhutan tan mandan akritsnavidah kritsnavit swayam jnanayogavasthanena na vichalayet. Te kila mandaha shrestha janachara anuvartinaha karmayogat uthitam enam drishtva karmayogat prachalitamanaso bhaveyuhu. Ataha shrestha swayamapi karmayoge tishtan atmayathatmya jnanena आत्मनः कर्तृत्वम् अनुसन्धानः कर्मयोग एव आत्मावलोकने निरपेक्ष साधनमिति दर्शयित्वा तान् अकृत्स्नविदो मन्दान् जोषयेत् इत्यर्थः. ज्ञानयोगाधिकारिणोऽपि ज्ञानयोगात् अस्य एव ज्यायस्त्वं पूर्वमेव उक्तम् अतो व्यपदेश्यः लोकसंग्रहाय एतमेव कुर्यात्. प्रकृति विविक्त आत्मस्वभाव निरूपणेन गुणेषु कर्तृत्वम् आरोप्य कर्मानुष्ठान प्रकारः उक्तः. गुणेषु कर्तृत्व अनुसंधानं च इदम् आत्मनो न स्वरूप प्रयुक्तम् इदं कर्तृत्वम् अपितु गुण संपर्क कृतम् इति प्राप्ताप्राप्त विवेकेन गुणकृतम् इति अनुसंधानम्. The Bhashya is beautifully explaining the gist of this shloka. Akrishnavidastu atmadarshanaaya pravrittaha. So in the shloka, prakritehe gunasammudaha, the attachment that is told is not with karmas which are nishiddha, which are barred, because it is told, na vichalayet. You should not make them get distracted and move away from what they are doing. So it is not about nishiddha karmas that they are doing. They are doing that whatever is right, whatever is told according to Shastra only. So they should, na vichalayet means you should not make them move away from what they are doing. So it is not talking about nishiddha karma. So that means it is applicable to some purushartha only, has to be told. And here in this prakarana, what is important here is, what is applicable here is Atma Darshana. So attaining the vision of the self. So that is why the Bhashya starts with Akritsna Vidastu Atma Darshanaya Pravrittaha. Prakriti Samsrishtataya. Atma Darshana is attaining the vision of the self. Prakriti Samsrishtataya, having deeply associated with the matter, Prakriti. Prakritehe gunaihi yathavasthita atmani sammudhaha. That is because of the qualities of the Prakriti, and they are not having the right knowledge with the Atman, that is the self, and they are thinking that that itself is Atma. Guna karmasu kriyasu eva sajjante. So the effects of those gunas, whatever are there, in those activities only they get deeply attached. Na tad vivikta atma swarupe. They do not have a mind in the nature of the self which is clearly distinct and different from matter. Te jnana yogaya na prabhavanti. Because that they do not engage in jnana yoga. Iti karma yoga eva tesham adhikaraha. So they are eligible only to do karma yoga. They are not able to, they do not have the eligibility or capability to perform jnana yoga. Evam bhutan tan mandan akritsna vidaha. So those who are like this, who are mandas, that is, who do not have complete knowledge, and they are called mandas, means they are ignorant. Kritsnavit, one who has a complete knowledge, swayam jnana yoga avasthanena na vichalayet. The one who has a complete knowledge, if such a person starts doing jnana yoga, they also will get distracted, and such a thing should not be done. Te kila mandaha, they are ignorant. So shrestha jana achara anuvartinaha, because they are having complete knowledge, they are ignorant. They are always looking forward to following somebody who is shrestha, who is well known, and who is doing having all the complete knowledge. So they are always looking forward to following somebody like that. Shrestha jana achara anuvartinaha. Karma yoga duthitamenam drushtva. Looking at this person who is not doing karma yoga but who is doing jnana yoga, karma yoga te prachalita manaso bhaveyu. Their mind also will get moved away from karma yoga, and they may start getting interested in jnana yoga and start doing something which they are not capable of doing. Ataha shreshtaha swayamapi karma yoge tishtan. For that reason, a person who is knowledgeable, having full knowledge of the self, and who knows how to do, even though he knows jnana yoga, he has to be performing only karma yoga. Atmayathatmya jnanena atmanaha akartatvam anusandadhanaha. But because he has complete knowledge, atmayathatmya jnanena. Yathatmya jnana is whatever is the real nature of the self as it exists. That is the self, that is the individual self, is jnana swarupa, he is eternal, and all those things he is subservient to the Lord, and all those nature of the self, atmanaha akartrutvam anusandadhanaha. In his real essential nature, he does not have this kind of kartrutva, doership, and this is coming only because of the association with matter. So having all these things in mind, thinking all these continuously, karma yoga eva atma avalokane nirapeksha sadhanamiti darshayitva. That is, he should show to the world, to everybody, or to people who do not have complete knowledge also, that through karma yoga itself one can achieve the complete vision of the self without anything else, without the need for jnana yoga. And with that, darshayitva tan akrisna vidaha mandane, those who don't have full knowledge and ignorant, joshayed ityartaha, should make them completely pleased and happy and get deeply interested in this karma yoga itself. Jnana yoga adhikarinopi jnana yogat Asyaiva jyayastvam purameva uktam. So even earlier itself it was told that even for a person who is eligible for Jnana Yoga, Karma Yoga, even for such a person, Karma Yoga itself is superior to Jnana Yoga, because Jnana Yoga has a lot of difficulties and it has got pratyavaya due to accidental mistakes and all those things that may happen. So it is not very safe to do that. So even for a person who is capable of Jnana Yoga, Karma Yoga itself is superior, was told earlier. Ataha Vyapadeshyaha, one who is well known and who is worthy of getting cited or being followed, Lokasangrahaya etameva kuryat. For protecting the world and for showing the right lead to the world, he has to do only this. How he has to do that is Prakriti Vivikta Atma Swabhava Nirupanena. That is Prakriti Vivikta Atma Swabhava. That is the nature of the self is very, very different and distinct from matter, Prakriti. And that Swabhava Nirupanena, being establishing that nature of the self completely, Guneshu Kartrutvam Aropya, the doership that is coming, that is being seen, he has to put it on the gunas. He has to think that, he has to know that it is due to the gunas, the qualities of the matter. Karmanusthana prakaraha uktaha. So that is what is told, that how one has to do the karmas, all the actions. Guneshu kartrutvanusandhanancha idam. So what is meant by putting the idea of Kartrutva, that is doership, on the qualities of the matter? What does it mean? That is being explained as Atmanaha na swarupa prayuktam idam kartrutvam. Whatever is doing here, idam is a very important word there. The Kartrutva, the doership that is seen here, is not existing in the essential nature of the individual self. Swarupa is essential nature. Swarupa Prayukta is coming due to essential nature, Atmanaha, for the individual self. Idam Kartrutvam. All these actions, the activities that are being done, are not according to the essential nature of the individual self. Apitu Guna Samparka Kritam. It is because of the association with the matter and the qualities of the matter that is coming. Iti Prapta Prapta Vivekena Gunakritam Iti Anusandhanam. So looking at both the cases, prapta and aprapta, when it is present, when it is not present, all those things have to be kept in mind, and one has to do karma yoga. This will be explained in detail in the Bhashya. We will see that. In the Tatparya Chandrika has got some more details. So Akrisna Vidastu Atmadarshanaya Pravruttaha is explained. Atmadarshana is the goal here, that is attaining the vision of the self. So the attachment is in some means to attain what one who is not fully knowledgeable about self is eligible for. So that is how it is to be interpreted. Here what is told is for one who is aspiring for the vision of the self, but not having proper knowledge of the self, complete knowledge of the self. Prakriti samsrishtataya prakritehe gunaihi yathavasthita atmani sammudhaha. In Shloka 27 also, the meaning of Ahankara Vimudhatma was commented as confusion in respect of Atman, that is the self. So here also Gunaihi Samudhaha is the samasa for Guna Samudhaha. Prakritehe Guna Samudhaha is Gunaihi Samudhaha. Anvaya for Guna, Shabda is with Prakritehe. So Bhashya is Prakritehe Gunaihi Yathavasthita Atmani Samudhaha. So the Atman, the matter, Atma itself, Dehatma Brahma, this is exactly that. Guna karmasu kriyasu eva sajjante. The word guna karmasu is to be related to karma yoga, and hence finally it will end up in karma yoga. So the kriyasu is the Bhashya. The word eva stresses that it is mainly involved in actions. Karmasu kriyasu eva. That is, it is mainly involved in action only. Natad vivikta atma swarupe, not in the nature of the self, which is different from action. So kriyasu eva sajjante natad vivikta atma swarupe. Kriyasu eva, they are involved mainly in doing karmas, because that is coming from anadi karma vasana, prachina karma vasana, and they are naturally engaged in doing karmas, and they are not used to doing the meditation of the Atman. And so they are not also having complete knowledge of the self. So the self which is entirely distinct and different from the matter, they are not having that knowledge. So they are engaged only in karmas and they are deeply attached to those karmas only. Ataha te jnana yogaya na prabhavanti. For that reason only they are not capable of engaging in jnana yoga. They do not have the samarthya, the capability to engage in jnana yoga. Iti karma yoga eva tesham adhikaraha evam bhutan tan mandana. Because they are by themselves ignorant, they follow those who are knowledgeable. So the mandatva that is told here is that they are incapable of deciding the achara or the practices by themselves. How is something to be performed, to be put in practice? That is the achara. They are not capable of deciding that. So that is a mandatva. Or it can be that they can be easily distracted. So they are the ignorant ones, and they very easily get distracted by what a Shrestha is doing. Or they are not courageous enough, etc. So they are lowly. That is the meaning of manda here. Akritsnavidaha kritsnavid swayam jnana yoga avasthanena na vichale. So if a kritsnavid, one who has complete knowledge, does himself jnana yoga, then those who are manda, they also get distracted. That should not be done. So what is told as na vichalayet is included in Joshayet Sarvakarmani Vidwan Yukta Samachan, which was told earlier also. That is the so ataha shreshtaha swayamapi karma yoge tishtan atmayatha atmijnanena atmanaha akartrutvam anusandadhana. But one person who has a complete knowledge of the self is different from one who does not have the knowledge, in a way that he should put the kartrutva on the gunas. That is, atmanaha akartrutvam anusandadhanaha. He has to be always thinking about that the self does not have the doership. That is very important here. Karma, and with that thinking, with karma yoga itself, one can achieve the vision of the self. With that idea, one should do in such a way that others should be really pleased to follow that, and they should wonder how this Shrestha is performing this karma yoga. It must be the most, it is the best way to do, and they will also start engaging in that. Jnana yogadhikarinopi jnana yogat asyaiva jyayastvam purameva uktam. So a doubt may arise here. If one who is capable of jnana yoga decides to adopt karma yoga, does it mean that he is adopting something which is lowly than what he is capable? So the answer is, it is not so, because even for such a person who is capable of doing jnana yoga, karma yoga only is superior was told even earlier also. So that is not the reason. Ataha vyapadeshya lokasangrahaya etameva kuryat. So even if someone looks at what is the duty, it would be karma yoga only. Lokasangraha, that is kartavya, because a Shrestha has a lot of responsibility that he should give the right lead to those mandas, because they are looking forward to following people who are knowledgeable, and they should not be misled. For that reason, lokasangraha also etameva kuryat. Karma yoga only one has to do. So that is being stressed again and again here. Prakriti vivikta atma svabhava nirupanena guneshu kartrutvam aropya karmanusthana prakaraha uktaha. This is like preamble for next shloka, where it is told that it's going to be told that everything is to be offered to the Supreme Lord. So this is a previous step, where before that teaching about attributing doership to the gunas of Prakriti is for the purpose of that, even that would help in knowing the distinction between body and self, Dehatma Viveka. So ultimately everything has to be offered to the Lord, but one step before that is putting the kartrutva on the gunas, the qualities of the matter. That will also help one in knowing the distinction between body and the individual self, that is Prakriti, Dehatma Viveka. Guneshu kartrutva anusandhanam cha idam. This is a very important part of the Bhashya. What is the kartrutva in the gunas? That one has to know very clearly. That is explained very nicely by Bhashyakara. Atmanahana swarupa prayuktam idam kartrutvam apitu gunasamparka kritam iti prapta vivekena gunakritam iti anusandhanam. So the meaning of attributing the doership to qualities, the gunas of Prakriti, what is the meaning? Can an inert thing such as quality, which is sattva, etc., can it have, if one has to do, if one has to have a doership, that one has to do some work, some action, there are three things that are required: jnana, chikirsha, and prayatna. That is, one should be having knowledge about what one is going to do. That is jnana. And just having mere knowledge is not enough. Having the knowledge, one should have the desire to do that work also. That is chikirsha, kartum nicha, chikirsha. That is, one should have the desire to do that work also. The third part is one should act after that, prayatna. So I have the knowledge, I have interest in doing that, but I am simply keeping quiet. I am not doing anything. Then also one will not do any action. So one should also act after that. So jnana, chikirsha, prayatna, all these three are required for doership, for doing something. How can an inert thing such as quality, that is sattva, rajas, tamas of matter, how can it have all these things? How can we do doership? How can we attribute the doership to these gunas? And that is what is being raised here as a doubt. So all these are not possible in inert matter. So what is meant by guneshu kartrutvam aropya is explained here. Though the self only is having the jnana, chikirsha, and pravritti, all these are present in the self, that is the individual self, atma, who has the knowledge, that is, he has knowership, he has doership, he has enjoyership, all these things. He has the desire to do chikirsha, and he can also act upon it. So that is knowing, getting interest in doing and acting. Or it is not. But all these are what idam kartrutvam. That idam is very important here. What he is doing here, being associated with matter. So it is not that there is no kartrutva at all for Atma, is not the meaning. Idam kartrutva means what he is doing while being associated with Prakriti. So it is not in the essential, these acts are not in the essential nature of the self, but they are coming due to the association of Prakriti, and the qualities of Prakriti make one do all these various acts. So this is yukta nishchaya is to be made with anvaya and vyatireka. Prapta viveka means the knowledge, the distinct or clear knowledge between what is prapta and what is aprapta. When Prakriti is present, one does all these acts. And Prakriti is absent, one does not do all these things. So Anvaya and Vyatireka, if you see, in the liberated state, one does not do all these acts. So it is not, these activities are not prapta for the Jivatma that time, because in the liberated state it is aprapta. When the association with Prakriti is there, it is prapta, they are all there. So with the knowledge of these states, that prapta and aprapta viveka, that in some state it is not there, in this state it is there. Knowing this distinction, one will know that it is not in the real nature of the self. If it had been in the real nature, it should have been present all through, in every stage or in every state. But it is not so. It is present while associated with Prakriti. It is absent when he gets dissociated with Prakriti completely, matter, when he gets deliberated. So in the essential nature, that means it is not there. The essential nature is the complete liberated state, where he has all the qualities, Ashtaguna, Virbhava, and all those things. And there he does not have this kind of doership that are coming due. They are influenced by the Sattva, Rajas, Tamas, the qualities of the Prakriti. So that is the Prapta Viveka. That with that clear knowledge, the distinction between what is the real nature of the self and why these are all coming here and things like that, one should say that these are all coming because of the association. And that is how all these activities are attributed to the inert matter. And in that inert matter, there are three qualities, Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas. All these qualities make one do different kinds of activities. So the different kinds of activities that one does here are to be attributed to the qualities, the different qualities of the matter, idam. So with that knowledge, one has to do Karma Yoga. That is what is told as here, that akartrutva anusandhana. So it is not akarana. Akartrutva is not akarana, that is not doing itself. One has to be doing, but with the idea that I am doing this because of association with Prakriti. So that is also made clear in by Swami Deshika in Tatparya Chandrika. So it is only Anusandhana. That is why Bhashyakara says Anusandhanam. That is thinking with the idea, but he has to do the work with the idea that I am not doing it. It is not present in my essential nature. I am doing this only because of association with matter, and he should do it. That is, it is so in this. It is not the swabhavika kartritva. There is a swabhavika kartritva for the individual self. The Brahma Sutra says karta shastrarthavatvat. The Brahma Sutra clearly says Atma is karta. He has got kartritva because shastra arthavatvat. That is, shastras have got meaning. Shastras are telling that you should do this, you should not do this. If Atma does not have doership itself in his essential nature, then for whom is the Shastra? Shastra will become meaningless. Because Shastra is meaningful and it has to be followed, the self has a kartrutva, a doership, but not idam kartrutvam. What is told in Bhashya here, idam kartrutvam is what he is doing here because of association with the matter due to the sattva, rajas, tamas. These are not the kartrutvas that are in the essential nature of the Atman. So, in the essential nature of the Atman is complete Jnana Swarupa, Ashtagunas, he has got Satya Sankalpatva, Apahata Papmatva and all that. So, he is to do all the Kainkaryas or service to the Lord. That is his essential nature. But because of the association of the matter, he gets into various activities influenced by the qualities of Prakriti, of the matter. So, if it does not have doership, then Shastra will become futile. So, in the essential nature, self has the kartrutva is there is swabhavika kartrutva, but not this kind of kartrutva. That is what one has to be thinking and doing the work. That is, what I am doing now is actually because of the association of the Prakriti. When this goes off, I will no more do all this because it is not in the essential nature of the Atman. So, and should not get attached to those activities, those karmas. So that attachment, that is what is known as akartrutva anusandhana. That is a very important part of this Guneshu Aropya Kartritam. What was told by Bhagavad Yamunacharya is this part of the shloka. Guneshu Aropya Kartritam, attributing all the doership that are being seen here on various activities should be attributed to the qualities of the matter. That is, they are influencing this kind of thing. Going further, Shloka 30, which is a very, very important shloka. According to what Yamunacharya has summarized, Sarveshwarevanyasya Okta, Sarveshwarevanyasya. So the final stage is that attributing all the doership to the Supreme Lord, Sarveshwara. Mai sarvani karmani sanyasya adhyatma chetasa nirashihi nirmamo bhutva yudhyasva vigatajvaraha. Mai sarvani karmani sanyasya adhyatma chetasa nirashihi nirmamo bhutva yudhyasva vigatajvaraha. Mai sarvani karmani adhyatma chetasa sanyasya nirashihi nirmamo bhutva vigatajvaraha yudhyasva. That is Anvaya. Mai means in me, who is the Antaryami, who is the inner self of all. Sarvani karmani, all the karmas or actions. Adhyatma chetasa sanyasya, having offered samarpana. Sannyasa here is samarpana. Having offered with the mind placed in the Lord that he is the Antaryami of everybody. Nirashihi, not having desire in the fruits. The asha is in the fruits. The desire, not having desire in the fruits. Nirmamo bhutva, not having the idea of ownership, that is belonging to self. Mamata, that is it is mine, kind of thing. So belongingness or ownership of self. Vigatajvaraha, not having any affliction. Yudhyasva, engage in this war, which is a dharma yuddha, which is your swadharma. After offer all the actions, their fruits and their ownership to me. That is this I, mine, and I am the enjoyer. It is meant for my sake. When we do a karma, this karma is mine. I am doing this karma, and the fruits are meant for me. These three aspects. This karma is also not mine. I am not the doer, and the fruits are also not mine. So this is Sannyasa, Nirashihi, Nirmama. This is the meaning of these three. So with that, you have to offer all the actions, the fruits, and the ownership to the Lord, who is the Antaryami, who is the inner self of all, and engage in Yuddha and other karmas. That is, it is not Akarana like it was told, it is Akartritva Anusandhana. Engage in Yuddha and other karmas, giving up the idea of doership, ownership, and desire of fruits, and do everything as the worship of the Lord. Everything is Paramapurusha Aradhana Rupa. With that, you have to do all the karmas. So the Sangati, the preamble for this shloka is Idanim Atmanam Paramapurusha Sharirataya Tan Niyamyatva Swarupa Nirupanena Bhagavati Purushottame Sarvatma Bhute Gunakritam Chakartratvam Aropya Karma Kartavyata Uchyate. So the ultimate state of Karma Yoga, how one has to do Karma Yoga, is told here. Idanim Atmanam, all the individual selves. So that also shows Atma Bahutva and all that. Paramapurusha Sharirataya. They are all like the body of Paramatma. He is a Shariri, everything else is Sharira. Tan Niyamyatva Swarupa Nirupanena. So because they are all like the body, what is the meaning of that? Tan Niyamyatva Swarupa. That is, they are being controlled under the control of the Lord. So the Sharira, the meaning of Sharira itself is Adheyatva Pravritti Niyamaihi Adikartu Shariram. Adheyatva, Videyatva, Sheshatva. These are all, because of these characteristics, he is called a Sharira. Adikartuhu Shariram. Adheyatva Prakriti Niyamaihi. Pravritti Niyamaihi Adikartu Shariram. So that is what is told as Sharira is Yasya Chetanasya Yat Dravyam Sarvatmana Swarthe Dharayitum Niyantuncha Shakyam Tat Sheshataika Swarupancha Tattasya Shariram Itaraha Shariri. The definition of Sharira and Shariri is given by Bhashyakara in Vedartha Sangraha as Yasya Chetanasya Yat Dravyam, say Dravya Sarvatmana Swarthe Niyantum Dharayitum Cha Shakyam. So it is supported by the Shariri, it is controlled by the Shariri, it is meant for the purpose of the Shariri. That Sheshataika Swarupancha. That is Sharira. And the supporter, the controller, and the person who is the Lord, who uses this for his purpose, is the Shariri. So that is told as Niyamyatva Swarupa Nirupanena. So all those individual cells are controlled by the Lord. They are all Niyamyas, and Niyamaka is Paramatma. Bhagavati Purushottame. Bhagavan is having all the gunas as told in the Shastras. Purushottama, that is also what is told in Bhagavad Gita also. He is distinct from Uttama Purushastvanyaha, Paramatme Tyudahartaha, Purushottama. Sarvatma Bhute, that is, he is the Atma, the inner self of everything. Sarvatma Bhute, Gunakritam cha Kartatvam Aropya. Even whatever is the doership that was attributed to the qualities of the matter, all those things have to be attributed to the Supreme Lord in the ultimate sense. Karma Kartavyata Uchyate. How one has to do Karma Yoga is going to be told here. So, what was told earlier in the previous shloka is Atma in the real nature, essential nature, has doership, Kartritva, according to Brahma Sutra, Karta Shastra Arthavatvat. The next Adhikarana of Brahma Sutra, the first Adhikarana says, Karta Shastra Arthavatvat. He has got doership. But what is the nature of this doership? Is he that he can do anything he wants? The next Adhikarana says, Paratu Tachrutehe. So that is Parayatta Adhikarana, it's called. That is, the Kartritva is under the control of the Lord. That is, it is given by the Lord. Parat tu. It is given by Paramapurusha. Tat Shrutehe. Because the Shruti Pramanas, they say that the Kartritva is given to the Lord, is under the control of the Lord, and it is given by him. And so that is the meaning of that Adhikarana is being taught here in this shloka. So the Niyamyatva is told as Swarupa of all Atmas, because that is the Swarupa Nirupaka Dharma of the Atma. The qualities which define the nature of the Atman. That is, he is Sheshabhuta to the Lord, subservient to the Lord, under the control of the Lord. So that is one of the Surupa Nirupaka Dharma, quality which establishes the essential nature of the Atmans. One of the qualities is Niyamyatva, that is being controlled by the Lord. So that is the Sharira Shariri Bhava also, which is a very important aspect in our Siddhanta. It's called Pradhana Pratitantra, which is unique to our Siddhanta. So with that idea, word Mayi in the Mula Shloka is explained as Bhagavati Sarvatma Bhute Purushottame. Mayi Sarvani Karmani. That Mayi means Bhagavati Purushottame Sarvatma Bhute. The word Bhagavati shows that Lord's Ubhaya Lingatva. That is, his nature is an abode to all the and is opposed to any defects. And so I think I lost the connection briefly in the middle. Bhagavati Sarvatma Bhute Purushottame. That is, the word Bhagavati shows Ubhaya Lingatva of the Lord. That is Kalyana Gunakaratva, Ashesha Kalyana Gunakaratva, and Akhileheya Pratyanikatva. That is opposed to anything that is defiling, and an abode to all the auspicious qualities is called Ubhaya Lingatva. And this Ubhaya Lingatva is indicated by Bhagavati, Bhagavan. And this is very essential for his Niyantratva, Upasyatva, and Phalapradatva. That is, he is the controller of everything, and he is the object of all meditations, and he is the bestower of all the fruits, Phalapradatva. Purushottamaha is, as told in Gita also, Uttama Purushastu Anyaha. He is different and distinct from everything else. He is called Uttama Purushaha, Purushottamaha. So that is the meaning. And he is present as the self of all, having done Anupravesha, that is Sarvatma Bhute, that is in order to control everything. So he does not get tainted by any of those defects and is different and distinct from everything else. So all these doshas which are existing in other things, like Prakriti or the matter, has the dosha defect that it undergoes modification in its essential nature itself. That is a defect that matter has. And Jivatma, though he is eternal and Jnana Swarupa, the dosha in Jivatma is Apurushartha, that is, in his attributive nature, he undergoes modifications. That is the attributive knowledge called Dharma Bhuta Jnana. In that attributive consciousness or the attributive knowledge, in that Dharma Bhuta Jnana, there will be ups and downs, then there will be contraction due to karmas. So that is the Apurushartha, that is a defect that Jivatmas have got, but the Jivas and all that. So all these, though he is present as Antaratma of all these, he does not have any of these defects. He is stored in Purushottama. That is also indicated by the word Purushottama. Sarvatma Bhute, he is the controller of even the Achidravya. Sarva means Chetana, everything. So Sarvatma Bhuta means he is the Atma Bhuta, controller of everything, including the Achidravya also. Even the inert matter, which is called Triguna, because it has got the qualities of Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. So by this, what is told as by Yamunacharya is Sarveshwareva Nyasyokta. That is going to be completely established in this shloka. And there are four things that are aspects explained in this chapter according to Yamunacharya. Asaktya is the first one. Lokarakshayi, Lokasangraha, second one. Guneshu aropya kartritam, first attributing the doership to the qualities of the matter. Sarveshwareva nyasyokta. Finally attributing all the doership to the Paramatma. So, though there are four aspects, they are not equal options. The Sarveshwareva nyasyokta, the last part, which is very different and distinct from all other things, because Bhagavan is the Atma for even Achidravya also, for Gunas, that is the Prakriti. Also, he is the controller, he is Atma Bhuta. So, this aspect is different from, so it is not in equal state with all the other options. So, there is not Tulya Vikalpa, what we say, it is not there. This is very different and distinct from other aspects that are told. It is a very special thing that one has to do. So, because of the word Mayi, his overlordship is implied. And so he being the inner controller of all is also understood. So also what is going to be told as Ishvara Sarvabhutanam, Hrideshe, Arjuna Tishtati, etc. They are all also implied by this Sarvatma Bhute, Purushottame. So that is the introduction to this shloka itself is so much meaningful that Bhashyakara has put such wonderful words and to explain the significance of this shloka. Atmanam Paramapurusha Sharirataya Tan Niyamyatva Swarupa Nirupanena Bhagavati Purushottame Sarvatma Bhute Gunakritam Cha Kartritvam Aropya Karma Kartavyata Uchyate Mayi Sarvani Karmani Sanyasya Adhyatma Chetasa Nirashihi Nirmamo Bhutva Yudhyasva Vigatachvaraha. So there is a lengthy commentary Bhashya for this. We shall take up we have come to the end of this class. We shall take up the Anusandhana of the study of the commentary for this shloka in the next session. With that I conclude today's session and offering my pranams to everybody. I leave the class open for any questions. In the next session, we shall take up the study of the commentary of this and the next few shlokas. That the next shloka is also a very, very significant shloka. Ye me matamidam nityam anutishtanti manavaha shraddhavantaha anasuyantaha muchyante tepi karmabhihi. Ye tu etad abhyasuyantaha na anutishtanti me matam sarvajnana vimudhanstan vidhi nashtan achetasaha. Sadrujam cheshtate swasyaha prakritehe jnanavanapi prakritim yanti bhutani Nigraha Kinkarishyati. Indriyasyeन्द्रियस्यार्थे रागद्वेषौ व्यवस्थितौ तयोः न वशमागच्छेत् तौ ह्यस्य परिपन्थिनौ. So these four shlokas we shall take up in the next session. With that, I conclude today's session and leave the class open for any questions. Thank you very much. Sarvam Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. So if there are no questions, we shall conclude today's session. Param Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. rAmAnuja.